So, what we're going to do now is we're going to go into our weekly This Day in History versus This Day segment. I'm going to give you the stories. You guys tell me which one it is, This Day in History, or a story from this week. So, first one. A volcano erupts in Washington, or an auto safety device manufacturer recalls a type of airbag found in 34 million different cars, causing one of the largest safety recalls in United States automobile history.
I'm going to say airbags are now because I didn't know Washington had a volcano.
Okay.
I totally agree with that, dude.
You know, I'm going to go with the recalls happened then because I believe it was Henry Ford, just because I think he's a stand-up guy. I feel like he'd do something like that.
That seems legit, like he would put airbags in there and then laugh when somebody hurt themselves and then recall it because he's a good dude.
I mean, right, he just seems like that type of guy.
You guys do realize we're talking about Washington State, right? The volcano erupting was Mount St. Helens, which, if you're learned and educated, as we are, you'll understand that that was quite an eruption, and the mountain blew half of itself off. That was 1980, and then Takata, the recalls recently with 34 million different airbags and 34 million different cars, being the largest safety recall in U.S. history.
Are they owned by Ford, by chance?
Probably Ford vehicles involved in the recall, so...
Especially them shit sayings.
Good looking, yeah.
If there's a recall, there's a Ford.
That's a funny Ford joke. Alright, so next. A Norwegian cruise ship runs aground in Bermuda, or a pitcher throws a perfect game at the age of 40.
I'm going to say the pitcher was back then.
Yeah, there's only been like a handful of perfect games, like 20 or something like that.
I'm also going to say the pitcher was back then because, I mean, in a world of steroids now, who can throw a perfect game these days?
Unless you're a pitching on steroids.
And I'm going to say back then too because I'm not even sure that baseball has started yet.
Baseball. The game started professionally in 1861. There's been probably 19 or 20 perfect games in the history of that 150-year span. Randy Johnson in 2004 throws a perfect game against the Atlanta Braves. And the cruise ship running aground was recently in Bermuda. Could you imagine? You're sitting on the beach, Bermuda, gorgeous place, costs a lot to go and hang out in Bermuda, and all of a sudden some cruise boat captain runs his boat into your beach. Sorry,
Get on the job.
That's right. He was probably sampling the airplane bottles.
I don't think that's what the Beach Boys were singing about.
No, Surfing USA. No, I don't think so. Okay, so
Swerving USA.
Swerve. All right, guys. Next, a man flies across the Atlantic in a monoplane, or a beloved children's show is made easily available for the first time after being off the air for 15 years.
I'm saying the TV shows now.
Yeah, the TV shows now. The plane, that had to be like maybe 2 years, 3 years ago. 2
or 3 years ago, okay.
Well, I'm going to say the plane happened then, except more than two or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It was like 4.
Yeah, the plane in 1927.
Yeah, that was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Charles Lindbergh flew from New York to Paris for the first time for a $25,000 prize, which back then was ballin'. Yeah, but 33 and a half hours it took him to get from New York to Paris because he was flying basically a biplane. Of course, it was a monoplane, only had one wing.
Hence the prefix.
That's right, guys. And then the beloved children's show Bill Nye the Science Guy is now on Netflix.
What?
Are you for real? Bill Nye the Science
Guy.
Bill Nye the
some sleep tonight.
Bill Nye the Science Guy hit in even 100 episodes in 1998, was taken off the air following its 100th episode, is now on Netflix. So viewers will wait if you would like to go and go and watch some Bill Nye.